Hello, welcome to Module 6. Hard to believe we're so deep into the term already. Just a few more weeks after this and we'll be there. This week we have a few things that are uh, required for you to do. Um, First of all, let me just go down and look at the ACE assignment. I'm not going to get into detail there because I've already provided an announcement with a video and as much explanation as I could in the first week uh, of the term. So go back and review that if you need to, um, and that should answer any questions that you have for that. Um, Other than that, we have our discussion engagement. Basically, each week we usually have around 3 discussion threads. Pretty sure that's what we're going to have this week. And what you need to do is you need to answer the initial discussion thread, and then you need to respond to, well, you need to answer it with your initial post for each of the 3, and then you need to respond to at least 2 students for each of those um, discussion threads. So that gives you about 3 um, per discussion thread, the initial one, and then 2 responses, and then you need to kind of spread those over the week instead of putting them all in one day. This is just to help us to keep engagement up with you and me and with the rest of the class. I hope you understand. Make sure they're substantive too. If they're just one sentence or something, then that really doesn't count as full credit. So make sure you give substantive information. We have a research project that's due Thursday, and then we have your homework assignments, 4 questions here. There's a template provided for you. If we look at that real quick, there's a template provided. So the first one that you have to do is problem 9.2. They ask you to do compute some information here, and then do journal entries, and then do an explanation. So coming to the template, first of all, you see the grade breakdown. Since none of them were major in size and or different size from the other ones, I just gave them all equal weight. And then you can see where you do your calculations. If you need to do additional calculations, then you add whatever you need. I'm fine with you adjusting the templates if you think that they don't represent what you know. And then go ahead and do your journal entries. You put your accounts here, and then you do your debit and credits. So since they had interest bearing and non-interest bearing, there's you can use these to make your adjustments or to make your journal entries in one fell swoop instead of having to do 2 journal entries. Hopefully that makes it a little bit easier. 9.6, you have a little bit more fancier template. Came from the publisher, that's why. But you can see the journal entries and how they're designed to be presented to you. It kind of gives you some help in where you need to go and what dates you need to use. And then the same thing goes with these journal entries in problem 9-8. Notice you do need to show your calculation for these. And then 9.12 is interesting. They want us to do the FASB and or the GAAP version and the IFRS version. So the part 1 is GAAP version. So you do your journal entry and then you provide your explanation. So make sure you explain it so that in a manner that I understand, that you understand the concept. So demonstrate your understanding of the concept and you should be fine. And then part 2 is the IFRS version. You should be pretty used to doing the projects by now. I know that they can get, there's a lot of them, but that's actually a benefit to you. Most undergraduates don't get the chance to do research, and it's a skill set that you can really use to differentiate yourself and set yourself apart from other people in the job market. You might have noticed I'm not as concerned with you finding the exact same research that they provide in this required solution. The reason is because as you practice this more and more, you'll start to notice whether or not you've got the right research. I mean, think about it. If if you identify the correct issue for your client, and then you find research, if it's very difficult or almost impossible to tie the research to the issue, you probably have the wrong research finding. If it's easy to tie it, if it's direct, if it's kind of natural for that issue and that research to tie together, then it's probably correct. Also, I focus a lot on the formatting because more often than not, that business communication side is really what's lacking from a lot of undergraduate programs. They don't give their students enough help with that, but that's really important in the business world, to especially as you move up the ladder, to be able to communicate in a proper way. That's why I always stress the memo. Start with the facts of the situation, provide the issue, then the research, and then give the advice. That natural progression builds your case, and it also makes sure that everything is clear in case somebody comes behind you and has to use it. You never know if this is going to end up if your research ends up in a court of law. You never know if it ends up on the desk of a partner or a CFO or CEO, and you just want to make sure everything is clear. And if you do that, and if you follow the guidelines I provided, it's a pretty generalized template that works over a lot of different cases and scenarios. So anyhow, I didn't mean to talk this long, but I hope this helps you. Have a nice week.